This journey is undertaken. Finally they reach Makkah Mukarramah, not Makkah Mukarramah of today, Makkah Mukarramah of 4,000 years ago plus minus. That place which Quran describes, Wadin ghayri dhi zar'in inda baytika al-muharram. Quran is ajib. Ulama will understand to some extent how just in these few words the image of that Makkah is opened up in front of us. Wadin ghayri dhi zar'. There wasn't even a blade of grass. Black, arid desert. No water, no life, no vegetation, no sign of life. A death sentence. Solitude, darkness, harshness, ruggedness, all this is contained in this expression. Wadin ghayri dhi zara. That Nabi, who when he was being flung into the burning open flames of a fire, said, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me. Allah is the best of protectors. No ooh, no ah, no question also, no hesitation also. This, he was insan. He was insan. There was no question of defying the command of Allah. But to make us understand how heavy this was, when he sees this place, and then Allah says, leave them here. Leave them. Ibrahim alayhi salam is shocked, according to the riwayat of Qurtubi. Ya Allah, this place? But Jibreel says, yes, this is the command of Allah. Command of Allah immediately. Aslamna. Aslamna. Doesn't make sense. Logic, all that doesn't enter into it. This is Allah's command. So Ibrahim alayhi salam leaves them. Little bit provision according to the riwayat. Little bit of water. One riwayat it comes, there was some barley. Enough to last for 2 or 3 days. Ibrahim alayhi salam starts leaving. Jibreel has disappeared. As he is going, Hajar, the command was, do not even explain to her. So naturally, young woman, to be separated not just from any husband, and husband of the caliber of Ibrahim alayhi salam, akhlaq of Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, their compassion, what must have been the bond of love between this husband and wife, how hard it was. Ibrahim alayhi salam is going, she's going behind him, clinging onto his kurta, the baby in her arm, begging, have I wronged you? Have I angered you? Why are you leaving me? Why are you abandoning me? This was a death sentence. Right up till Qudai, 2 or 3 kilometers outside Makkah Mukarramah. Begging, sobbing, pleading, crying, cannot understand. Imagine the devastation that is facing her. Being abandoned in this place like this. Totally alone. She was also a woman. What must have went through her mind, through her heart? Hadith, Quran is teaching us, revisit this. Think, visualize. We are also human beings, identify with this, empathize with this. And then the sliver of the thought enters the heart of Hajar. This is the Nabi of Allah. He will not commit zulm and oppression. Allahu amaraka bihada. Allahu amaraka bihada. Ibrahim, is this Allah's command? Has Allah commanded you with this? Ibrahim alayhi salam nods in affirmation. The command had come, no explanation. So he nods in affirmation, and what happens? A new Hajar is born. Immediate, what we'll call in English an about turn. Then that himmat, that courage. What courage can men today show in front of the courage of the grandmother of this ummah? What courage can the men of today show in front of this courage? A mountain of fortitude. When she hears this is Allah's command. Immediately, look at the change. إِذَنْ لَيُضَيَّعَنَ اللَّهِ. Ibrahim, go. Allah will never cause us to perish. There will never be loss. If it is Allah's command, what is the sabaq? What is the lesson? The actual Qurbani is coming later on. We've run out of time. But what is the lesson behind this? This complete fortitude. Handing yourself over to Allah, no matter how tempting that haram is, no matter how tempting that interest loan is, no matter how tempting that speaking lies is, no matter how tempting that television is, no matter how tempting that video and photography is, no matter how tempting that wedding function where you want to show off to the whole world how much you've got, and to the extent where you're borrowing from others is, no matter how tempting it is to devastate the sunnah from your physical appearance, no matter how tempting it is to be involved in places of haram when the azan is being called out, when the time to come before Allah, when that call is there, temptation upon temptation upon temptation. Makare, my Nabi said, Hujibatin Jannatu bil makari. Allah's hikmat, Allah's wisdom, Allah has placed a shroud over Jannat of things which you don't like. You are going to go against your nafs, you have to if you want Jannat. Inna silat Allahi ghaliya, inna silat Allahi al-Jannah. Allah's prize is Jannat, Allah's prize is expensive, a price has to be paid. A price has to be paid. Temptations will come in the name of science, in the name of technology, in the name of your worldly pursuits, in the name of this dunya, in the name of the lush greenery of this world, in the name of the wealth of this world, in the name of the famousness, shuhrat of this world, in the name of the lush temptations of this world. At every juncture of your life, you are going to face, there is going to be this taqabul. One side Allah's command, the other side that temptation. Allah's command, temptation. Sometimes in the guise of logic, in the guise of science, in the guise of some worldly explanation, all sorts of temptations, traps will come in front of you. This is Allah's sunnat. During these days of Qurbani, turn this clock back. Go to this family. Visualize the challenge of this mother. In a place, black arid mountains, a death sentence. Alone, abandoned by a Nabi of Allah. Abandoned with a defenseless child, with no provisions. Look at that taqabul, look at that confrontation. In the name of your science and technology and whatever explanation you want to put in front. When she hears this is Allah's command. This is Allah's command. This is Allah's command that Muazzin has said, Allahu Akbar. It is the command of my Allah. It is the command of my Allah. What is her reaction? Lan yudayyan Allah. They can never be lost. They can never be lost. There will only be barakat. What barakat? There's no time to go into the details. We know the barakat. Each one that is sitting here, his heart is crying for that place. When you go there, what are you going to do? You're going to imitate the action of the same mother of yours. Right down to the space where she ran, you will run. Allah elevated her to such a level. That Zamzam, you will drink it, you will hide it in your bag, you will go through the authorities, you will pay any price. Imagine how Allah has elevated her. What was the challenge that she faced? Aslim, submit. In Allah's command, there can only be khair. Rab chahi zindagi guzarne mein, in living a life where you hand yourself over to Allah, there can only be khair. And following your passions and desire, more misery than that there will never be, by the qasam of my Allah. That is the challenge. Temptations will come. Idhan lay yudayyan Allah. Ibrahim, if this is Allah's command, you go now, because my Allah will never let me perish. This sabaq, this lesson, like I said, the actual thing comes in front. Some opportunity Allah gives, that muzakara will take place. But this is not just sacrificing an animal. Sunnatu abrikum Ibrahim alayhi salam. Revisit this family, revisit this hijrat, revisit this qurbani, revisit the sacrifice, revisit the sabaq and lesson that has to be learned.